Legion Remix might be the best WoW we've ever had. Oh, the best WoW we've ever had. Now, Legion was one of the best expansions we ever had. I can agree with that. I rank it up there with Wrath of the Lich King. A Rhinery. Thank you for the Prime sub. 2 months in a row. Death Knight of our Scourge. Now, it's one of my favorites. It was a great time, and the remix version of it could be even better from what people are saying. Let's see what Marcellian has to say about how Legion Remix is going to be the best version of WoW we've ever had. Here we go.
Hello there, welcome back to Marcellian Online and to World of Warcraft, because it is a great time to play WoW and a time to be excited for what's coming to WoW. Legion Remix, baby, confirmed at PAX East and
Alexander, thank you for the sub, man. Prime getting 6 months kicking off that hype train. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Likely to be the best WoW you ever played. The remix content they added in Dragonflight around Mists of Pandaria has seen a stupid amount of people play it.
For those of you who played Mists of Pandaria Remix, which was a lot of people, you guys feel like that thing was a success? Because I feel like it was. I only played it briefly. You know, we made Furicus, and I didn't really level him up or anything. But I feel like that was a successful event for a Blizzard. People leveled their alts. They had a good time. They got a bunch of mounts that they couldn't get previously, a bunch of loot, too. So it was fun. Yeah. Furicus, I enjoyed it. I feel like a lot of people did. So, I mean, and that was based off of Mists of Pandaria, which was, overall, I thought a very good expansion. But a lot of people, you know, they didn't like it for whatever reason. They didn't like pandas. Now we're getting a remix off of an expansion that I would say is, most WoW people agree that it's a great expansion. So this could be even better than MoP Remix was.
To collect all of the mounts, transmogs, reputations, and simply have fun in WoW with easy specs, hilarious player powers, and 2-shotting raid bosses, and that was just with Mists of Pandaria. Think about it. Legendaries, artifact weapon trades, Surar, Mage Tower, endless Mythic Plus, and so much more, bro. You will 100% forget we are even supposed to be excited for World of Warcraft Midnight by the time this releases. So what even is or will be Legion Remix? The information we can go by at this moment is based off of what Mists of Pandaria Remix was just a year ago and draw some parallels. Of course, until the devs decide to disclose more. Assuming it follows a similar design, Legion Remix will happen on an enclosed server where you will have to create a fresh new character. That character will likely start and only have access to the Legion zones in the Broken Isles, Broken Shore, and Argus, with the odd story quest that might take you across Azeroth. Either way, you will be phased and isolated from any non-remix players and won't be able to leave this remix version of WoW until the event is over. At which point, your character will turn into
I'm sure they're going to do the same thing they did last time with the, what's it called? Infinite, the Infinite Dragonflight. They're going to do their whole little time walking thing where you go to this infinite version of Legion Remix. Now, the really cool thing about Legion Remix is they already said Mythic Plus is going to be a thing in Legion Remix, which kind of makes this seem like there's going to be more, I don't know, infiniteness to the end version of this. I don't know what you're going to be getting from Mythic Plus at the end. I mean, you can use it probably to level up. Maybe there's going to be some new transmog to be had from this. I don't think they revealed yet what we would get out of Mythic Plus in Legion Remix, but they did already say that there will be Mythic Plus available.
Regular character retaining all that you have accumulated during this period.
Toxicity from retail can follow you there.
What the expansion was when it releases, but on steroids. You will level through the zones and re-experience the story, or maybe experiencing it for the first time if you've never played the expansion, and I strongly recommend you play it. I will tell you at the end of the video how MoP Remix completely changed my opinion on Pandaren and made me a monk main today. You'll likely start at level 10, as with all alts that embark on a story-based experience past their initial allied race or hero class leveling zones. You will acquire a currency, which last time was bronze.
This was the best thing about the previous remix event, was the single currency. You guys remember you used this currency to upgrade your gear, to buy transmog, to buy mounts. It was like one currency for everything. Imagine. WoW with one currency. What a concept.
Was bronze, since the bronze Dragonflight stood at the premise of the event, as in us going back in time, because the infinite Dragonflight was trying to mess with the timeline again. Bronze will drop from everything: mobs, looted, quests, rewards, chests, and treasures. With bronze, you will buy everything from gear that you will then upgrade, to gems and socketable powers, to transmogs and mounts, to who knows what else the devs will make available to us, because in Mob Remix, I think we could buy all armor sets and all weapons.
In the end, wasn't everyone able to buy everything? Again, I didn't play through the entirety of Mop Remix, but you guys were able to purchase everything you wanted by the time it was done, right? Like, I think they ended up buffing it enough that early on people were a little bit upset that they weren't able to purchase a lot of things they wanted, but by the end, you guys bought everything. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, fuck you, Sam. Mythic, do some Mythic Plus. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. WoW with one currency would be boring because even someone like you who does literally zero content would be able to get crazy geared. Yeah, obviously, if they implemented a single currency in retail, the retail version of WoW, it would be kind of insane. But I just wish they would kind of lessen some of the currencies, or at least make some of them more, I don't know, understandable in their names. I still hate the crest system. I still think the naming and versions of the crests and all this shit are absolutely ridiculous at this point. You got different crests for crafting, you got different crests for leveling up your regular gear, and then there's like so many nuanced names to all the crests. I just look at their colors at this point. I don't even pay attention to them. I'm like, yeah, I need the red crests. That's the ones I need. Other than that, I can't be bothered to learn all these currencies anymore.
Expansion, save
I've become an old boomer, old angry boomer with currencies.
Which will raise a question about the Mage Sword eventually, but more on that in a minute. And if you like our content and you want to see more of it, we would be super grateful if you hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you. As you buy or loot items that scale with the level of mobs you kill, which in turn scale with your level, they can be further upgraded with bronze for more item level and stats. Essentially, the item can be looted at level 10 and taken into Mythic and Taurus to kill Argus by the end, which gives you a unique sense of progression, but also an expensive way to engage with bronze. Items will be socketable with powers in forms of gems. There are multiple types of gems, from passive procs of damage, explosions and heals, to giga stat boosts, and even spells from other classes.
Yeah, these gems make people crazy powerful.
You can be a Blood Death Knight with a warrior's heroic leap, or a mage with stealth. This concept opened up WoW to be a completely fresh and fun game that changed how people interacted with the world.
Yeah, I know people don't like to hear this, but it was Torghast. Torghast did this. Basically, you had Torghast powers out in the real world where you had these crazy abilities that you could do that normally you wouldn't be able to do with your class, and it allowed people to do some crazy stuff in the game. So thanks Shadowlands, everybody, for this version of Remix.
These gems can also be upgraded to increase their effects as you level up yourself.
Put some respect on the jailer's name.
Leveling through the story of Legion will gradually unlock more content, from class campaigns to dungeons and raids. At around level 20...
Oh my god, class halls! I forgot about, man, Legion was such a good expansion. I forgot about class halls. Class halls were such a cool thing. They really were. These like well-themed hubs for your class. You know, Horde and Alliance coming together in these places. I played Mage a lot during this time in Death Knight, and man, I love the Mage Order Hall with the floating books and the sweeping brooms everywhere. It was so magical and whimsical. And then actually, I feel like Death Knight's got the shorter end of the stick. You know, because we already had the fucking Arcanon or whatever the hell it's called floating up there. So it really just continued what we already had. We had the original Order Hall, so it wasn't that exciting when we got the new version of it. But it was still really cool. I thought Class Order Halls were a big W back in Legion.
Be able to queue up Emerald Nightmare, LFR, and clear bosses for items that have the appearance of Legion gear, but actual stat and socket design of the Remix event, on top of every other treasure a raid would offer. Higher level raids unlock at higher player level, with the max difficulty being available at max level for even more bronze and epic gear. As you increase your player power, you will go from an average WoW player to literally 1 or 2 shotting mythic bosses. This level of power will likely happen later, but it was how high we were scaled back in the Mop Remix version, giving you the actual feeling of being the champion of Azeroth and not a glorified NPC with a fancy title. You'll play through the class campaign and level up your class order hall, likely with the assistance of bronze, to buy up.
Have they revealed yet if we're going to get new Legion Legendary like weapon looks? Because that would be crazy. That would make it really I'd want to go back and play it then. I know some people who never got to play through this, it'll be nice for them maybe to go back and get the originals, but adding like another version of these Legion Legendaries would be really cool if they did that. I don't think they said whether they're going to do that or not yet, but I would go back and play just for some extra cosmetics. Even if they do, your ass ain't playing. I would try it. I would. because it won't take long to do those anyways. And I mean, maybe I don't know. It depends on what the achievement is that you'd have to do to get the new skin. But the Legion, still till this day, the Legion artifact skins, I use them all the time because they're so good. Those transmogs are still some of the best transmogs in the game. Did you play Legion like you played today? I played Legion a lot. I was in law school during Legion. So Mythic Plus, I was running it between classes. I played a lot of Legion. I didn't do a lot of raiding back in Legion because I just didn't have time with law school. But the Mythic Plus system got introduced, and I ran the shit out of it back then. And someone asked, have you always played DK? No, I haven't. I started this game playing a hunter, and then I played mage all the way up until BFA with a little bit of Death Knight in between, and then my Death Knight Blood DK became my solid main since BFA. And I haven't played anything else since. New class mount colors, that would be cool too. Yeah, there's a lot of like really good loot to be gotten from Legion if they created new versions of. Man, it would make this thing really fun to play.
Upgrades quicker, recruit followers, do world missions,
Why
and
are you
world
asking us?
quests
You're the
for
news
rewards.
guy.
We will level out artifact weapons.
That's what chat is for.
And
You lean
unlock
on
their traits, which is where things will get really interesting. Most of the traits we had back in Legion in artifact weapons have since become legendaries and talents. The same goes for the legendaries that once dropped back then. It's unlikely they will rework classes to be as they were in Legion, since this didn't happen for Mob Remix, and obviously we didn't have evokers back then. And it would be way harder than to just come up with new legendaries and artifact traits. It's a good chance that these will cross over or even be replaced by the gem socketing system, since otherwise we would have 3 totally separate player power systems, which, as I say this,
crazy.
sounds incredibly fucking awesome. Another thing that they actually mentioned will be Infinite Mythic Plus.
They did mention
something
this.
we thought Mythic Plus would always naturally become. As I said, that by the end, your power as a character will be ridiculously high.
This is going to be an infinite power. You're going to probably be the most powerful you've ever been in the game. And I said this back in retail, as we've advanced past Legion, I still say till this day, I think Legion artifacts and everything that came with it, that was the most powerful we've ever been in the game. Maybe end of BFA with corruption powers. That was another version of like us being the most powerful we've ever been. That's probably the closest, or like those two are the strongest we've ever been in the game. Besides that, I feel like end of expansions, we've always been powerful, but never to that level where we were with basically Legion legendaries just being completely pushed to the limits, and corruption abilities. And Blizzard said themselves, by the way, with the infinite grind and being able to push your legendaries to the limit, Blizzard themselves said that they did not expect players to pump up their legendaries as far as they did. So we went beyond. I'm talking about the artifact weapons. We went beyond what Blizzard expected the artifact weapons to go, because you just kept adding to them. You could keep going. So it was a lot of fun. And now this version of it, the remix version of it, I'm sure we're going to be even more godlike. Yeah, And somebody asked, was I actually good at the game? Yeah, I was actually better at the game in Legion. I was. The thing is, every time you have a kid, you get a little bit of a debuff on your WoW player skill. So I'm pretty debuffed right now. I'm 4x on that debuff. But yeah, I was pretty good at Legion.
You will one-shot bosses, remember that part? Well, imagine what that means for Mythic Plus. It was confirmed at the PAX East event that
Bullshit.
the devs actually want to see
You
how
probably go
far
back and check
we
what
can
I was
go
running
and maybe even break the game through sheer player power. I would imagine the rewards would scale like crazy, and maybe we will even break M plus 100 keystone level. Fancy that, huh? Of course, there will still be the rest of the content to do for people who just are there for the chill vibes. You'll go back to Surar and build the resistance against Elisand and Gul'dan.
Surar was a great storyline.
Invasions and do secret treasure.
And I keep misspeaking, by the way, and saying Legion legendaries. That was another thing. There was the artifact weapons, which we grinded out to the max, and then everyone got 2 legendaries that were randomly slotted, right? And actually for me, when I was playing my mage at that time, I actually got the best in slot legendary. It dropped for me. So that was a big deal. Then later on, you could purchase your best in slots. They made them available that way. But like you had your 2 legendaries plus your Legion artifact. People were just going God mode by the end of it.
hunts, and maybe even the Mage Tower. This is something that will 100% have to come back. In Mop Remix, we did not have challenge mode dungeons since it's hard to enforce a challenge mode for players that ended up doing 100 times more DPS than they did when the content was current. The main question is, will we be able to unlock the old Mage Tower appearances? We didn't get the challenge mode transmogs.
I don't know about Mage Tower.
It would make sense for them to keep them consistent this time around. But I believe Mage Tower was too big of a content to ignore, despite them not actually able to make it a challenge if our player power scales to Titan's level, or maybe they can just give us a character template, which makes it a little bit boring, but who knows? Because there are...
Yeah, the thing is about Mage Towers, it was challenging content. That's why it was fun. If you go God mode in this version of Legion Remix, I mean, you would just walk into the Mage Tower and one-shot the boss. There's nothing challenging about that. So I don't know how they would do Mage Tower if they did it.
Plenty more stuff to collect, like an 100% chance to get those damn Xavier's shoulders and that darn Taishalak. You heard me. They will still have a drop chance, of course, but there will be vendors for all appearances and mounts, and you would be able to eventually buy these if they just don't drop for you. It will cost a few weeks of bronze farming, or days, depending on what options we have.
Oh my god, bronze farming. He just reminded me. Do you guys remember all the broken ways people were farming bronze early in Mists of Pandaria Remix? And it became like a thing where like every day a new video would come out or a new Wowhead article would come out, and I'd be reading it. We'd talk about, oh, this is how you can do the new bronze farming. This is the broken way to do it. And then Blizzard would hotfix it out. And it became like an arms race of players trying to figure out ways to bronze farm. And then Blizzard would hotfix that one out too. That was funny. Yeah, I remember that. There was the farm version of it at one point, Mists of Pandaria Remix, where people were on the farm just constantly farming. Oh, man.
That is how I
wonder if that's
finally
gonna
was
happen
able
again.
to get my Garrosh Tusks of Madroth appearance, arguably rarer than the ones I just mentioned. And yes, vendors will be available to offer you consumables, so you won't need professions, actual gear if you were unlucky to loot some, and general items to set you out to either quest and complete achievements, or raid with people for those Charhound mounts in Antorus that I never fucking got, but I will be damned if I don't collect them all. And collect everything you can. I emptied every single vendor of every single item set from world quests, dungeons, to raids, to tier sets from the Mop Remix event for every armor type and every available class. The bronze that will drop will scale higher and higher as the event goes on and you power up your character more, or rather level new characters for even faster currency farming, since a lot of the currency comes from leveling up and going through dailies. The fun part is that once you level your main tune, you can send the overpowered gems to your alts, which will make them speed level through the same content in like 10% of the time it took you for the first time around.
That's
Being
right, I
able
forgot
to
about
raid
that.
at level 20, acquire new gear, keep questing, come back to raid stronger, do it faster, loot more stuff, raise the difficulty is a feeling that reminded me the most of vanilla WoW back in the day, when the whole point was to level through the zones and experience the story. All of this, by the way, with another announced system taken from the Diablo games and
yeah,
most
the open
RPGs
world
out
stuff.
there,
Yeah, they
which
did
is
announce
the
this.
world difficulty. If they implement it as a one-to-one copy, we will be...
Can we all agree that like Suramar is the best city ever added to the game? Like I'm not original cities, because those were already there. Cities added to the game. I don't think there has been a city that feels more lived in, feels more alive, has more story, was more fun to quest in. The beautiful music, the architecture, everything about Suramar was on point. That's unbelievable. I still love this place, man. I wish there was a reason to go back to it. I mean, I guess there's Remix coming out, so there's that reason. But other than that, it's such a cool place. I freaking loved it. Nighthold was a great raid. It was a great raid, and it had some really good transmog in it too.
Able to talk to an NPC and change the difficulty of the world content to make monsters tougher, do more damage, but also massively increase the loot that they drop. This might very well be the engine by which they will make...
You know how they're redoing Silver Moon. I hope that Silver Moon, they take notes from what they did with Suramar and they make it, you know, on that level of like NPCs walking around and everything else. I hope that the new version of Silver Moon feels like a Suramar.
Make sure
your
we
favorite
can
was
farm
Oribos?
all of
God.
the loot that we need before the event
Worst
ends,
city ever.
and not have us take 2 years like as long as the original expansion lasted. As to why I am recommending Legion Remix for everyone, even those who played Legion back in the day, is because it would be the closest experience you will have for playing the expansion new a second time.
1 second. Oh, you guys know what that means? I think baby's awake. She needs help in 3 minutes. Okay. Let me know. Okay. All right. That's fine. I guess I'll go help her in 3 minutes. For now, we continue.
And no, I don't believe an eventual classic version of Legion would be the same thing, because in Remix you have all these new elements that everyone will experience for the first time, while a classic version of an expansion is 100% explored.
There's a lot of good stuff to experience in Legion Remix.
With nothing new to surprise you with. On top of that, the game modes of playing Remix at a much faster pace eliminated the downtime and gatekeeping you would have experienced during Legion, and as I said, in my opinion, give you an actual and ideal leveling experience for WoW that might be the best version of WoW you ever played. Mop made me experience the Pandaren story without any gating or patches to have to wait through. The world was alive and fully open from the get-go, and I could actually see how the lore of Pandaren and monks was maybe supposed to be in the heads of the writers and world builders at the time, people who maybe don't create a story that is supposed to be played in patches. I'm telling you, you never really know what it's like to experience an actually good WoW expansion without breaks, resets, story chapters released a patch later, items coming out delayed, and so on. This event is likely more ambitious than anyone has thought, considering how much content there was in Legion and how it will be made so that we can play a 2-year rich expansion in about 3 months. It will legit be WoW on steroids.
And Legion over 2 years, there was no lag time. If you remember, Legion was the follow-up to WoD, so they started development on Legion early. I mean, Legion gave us 2 years of packed content. There was content the entirety of 2 years. So the fact that they're cramming this all into that 3-month period, that is going to be a shit ton of things to do.
I am curious though, what is the most anticipated feature you are looking forward to when revisiting Legion? Is the Mage Star appearance you never got, isn't it? Or maybe the class campaign to make you feel like a paladin again, right? Whatever it is, let us know in the comment section below, and check this video out if you want to be busy until Remix hits and play some banger specs in your M+10s and finish all your portals once and for all.
There it is. Yeah, a nice video from Marcellian. It's weird that he doesn't put music in his background anymore. I don't know. But Legion Remix, certainly going to be a great remix, a fun remix, and it's going to be, I think, a good time. I think this is going to be people's favorite remix ever. Nice video from Marcellian.